What's up, agency owners? Jason Swank here with another episode of the Smart Agency Masterclass. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the number one thing that I see holding agency owners back from scaling their company. Darby, welcome back to the show. Darby's my great friend, agency scale specialist for us that a lot of you have chatted with. What's up?
Oh, just hanging out. How you been?
Well, we were talking this morning. This is kind of an impromptu, podcast on, you know, and I was talking to you and you were kind of like pulling the stick out of my butt of going like,
I've been doing a lot of that lately.
so fired up about, these agency owners asking for help, but then they don't do what they need to do.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And we've been seeing it from multiple angles, right? It's the people that decide they want help and then don't show up and don't do the work. And then there's the people that raise their hand that say they need help, but then they vanish. And it's not even like we're selling or even, there hasn't even been an offer yet. It's just like they just disappear. And we have a hard time wrapping our mind around it sometimes. So, just felt like it'd be fun to jump on and just kind of vent a little bit and two, just say, hey, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of feeling like you're not where you should be, it's up to you to do something about it. Nobody can fix it for you. And that's the thing that we want to talk about. It's just, at the end of the day, you got to put in the work.
Well, and what prompted it was, I sent out an email to everyone. I said, hey, I'm looking for 2 agency owners that want to really take their agency to the next level. Let me know if this is you. So we had all these people reply. And then I said, amazing, awesome. Let's set up a time to chat. Crickets. And it literally said, remind me what even the email said, because I was just so frustrated from it. It was like, is this you? Like, are you not even...
Yeah, no, the whole I don't remember the words of the email exactly, but the context was like, I see so many agencies struggling because they don't do anything about it. And then these people basically raised their hands and then didn't do anything about it. It was I don't know if irony is the right word there. I think it is, but it's just like, what in the hell are these? Anyway, let's talk about what it takes to get help the right way, right? We help tons of agency owners, but we're not the right fit for everybody. What we do is great for some, but for many, I'd say even maybe a major percentage of agency owners, we're not the right fit, right? But everybody needs support. Everybody needs accountability. Everybody needs community. Everybody needs help, right? This is not something anybody can do completely independently. You can, but good Lord, it's hard.
That would be
So,
miserable.
Let's talk about like what do you need to do as an agency owner? What are the things you need to be prepared for? What are the steps you need to take? How do you go about this the right way?
Well, I think they have to figure out if they want to change or not, right? Like a lot of those people that would email us back or they'll reach out to me on social, Jason, I need your help. And then we offer help and we're not even asking for any money or anything. We go, cool, we'll help you. Let's jump on a call. Cricket.
And it's not even that we will help you. It's like, hey, let's just jump on a call, get to know each other like this much, a little bit, and just see if this could be a good fit. And if it's not, we'll tell you and we'll point you in the direction of, hey, I had a call today with a guy that very early on in his agency, right? Modest amount of revenue. And he'd applied for help somewhere else. It didn't connect. He got referred to us. We jumped on a call. And I flat out told the guy, I'm like, look, man, at the stage where you are, there are so many free resources out there. They can help you with 85 to 90% of the challenges you're facing right now where you are. Like between our podcast, our YouTube channel, there's books, there's a tons of amazing podcasts. I said, anybody who asked you to make an investment at this stage in your growth, you should immediately distrust and strike off the list, because they're after one thing, and that's closing a deal and not helping you. And I'm going to send you a list of links this long when we're done on tons of stuff that can help you with half or more of what we talked about today. And then when you get to another point or another level, maybe we can re-engage, but we're not there yet. So yeah, it's mind blowing how people just aren't prepared to get the help.
Well, They need to recognize that they want to change, and the pain of not changing is greater than the pain to change. Like, that's the key.
It's I don't and some people are just so resistant to change at every level, and it's just like this contrarian mindset that somebody will say, oh well, this worked for me, and then the response is, oh well, I tried that and it didn't work. Well,
Well,
maybe maybe there's a different way
yeah.
of trying it, right?
Well, I think here's the deal is they I think a lot of people, and I see a lot of agencies that we talk with, they're scared. They're scared of growing because they're in a comfortable state right now. Okay. And then they want to kind of take it up to the next level, but they don't want to risk what they have. And then what happens is they'll dip their toe in a little bit and they'll go, ooh, that feels good. Let me go a little bit further. But then when like they're still in that comfortable state, they haven't invested when they needed to invest. And then when the shit hits the fan, they kind of like falter, right? And they kind of freak out and going, we need to halt everything. Which actually, when things are going bad, you should be investing more and you should be hanging out with people that can actually help you rather than going back into isolation. Because we know what isolation just drives you crazy. And there is a way out, but it's a lot harder. And so I think that's my biggest frustration, honestly, is I see people reach out that they need help, and then we actually like them, and we go, "God, if you just did this." Like, because they come to us all emotional, and they can't make the right decision emotional. But, like, the mastermind members or us, we can see things that they might and look, guys, we're not pitching our mastermind at all. Please. Like, there's tons of masterminds, there's tons of programs, there's tons of people. Also talk about I saw a cool LinkedIn, day about, like, you should only go to work with someone that actually has done it and done what you've done. Um, that's a whole 'nother thing. Like, if you're 19 years coach and you're saying you can grow a $20 million agency but never owned an agency or worked in an agency, like, you're full of shit. Um, but like, they're so afraid that just can't make the right decision. They're almost kind of crippled. It's like when I was 5 years old, I slept walk into the kitchen, and I remember because I was shorter than the countertops, and I just got so scared. I was petrified. I just froze. I couldn't make a decision. I couldn't yell. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. And I feel a lot of people get into that state in their agency, and it takes them a while to get out if they get out.
So, what are the things that we see for the people who have the most success, the people that are able to see rapid growth or are able to stop doing things they don't like doing? What are the common threads of the people who are achieving those results that we see? Because they're easy.
They're curious. They're humble. They treat their agency as a test, going, "Hey, I'm going to test this out. If it works, great. If it doesn't, okay." Like I'm going to either win or learn. That's how they look at it. And they don't like. I think when people get in trouble, and I think I used to be this way too. We keep getting to a certain level, and we keep acquiring more and more stuff. Then we have more and more to lose. Versus, like, if you just go, I can restart like that. Now you'll still be pissed off, and allow yourself to be pissed off for a little while. So you remember this and you get through it. But don't let this cripple you for weeks, months, quarters,
But
years.
even
Like,
still,
I see
when was the last time you spoke to, knew of, or were associated with an agency owner at any level that tanked their business because they tried something new?
I I can't remember.
That and I kind of figured that
I
was going to
can't
be the
remember.
answer. I didn't know, but that's my point. It's like, yeah, it sucks and it's scary and it's daunting, but at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen isn't going to happen.
Well, let's look at this. Like, what was Alano's niche during the pandemic. Do you
No, yeah,
remember?
well, it was right before the pandemic because he was
Yeah.
part of the
He was
technology
so
company
excited,
that
wasn't he?
developed this amazing technology for trade show events, and it was almost like this interactive touch screen type thing. So he had all these connections and all this cool thing built out around trade shows and live events. And I mean, he invested all this time and energy into like niching down, building website, all this
Finally
stuff,
took our advice.
and launched it in
Was in the
like
mastermind
January of
forever.
2020. It went live.
Yeah, yeah. And he was in the mastermind for quite a while. Finally took everyone's advice, going, "Please, Alana, like you could crush it niching down," and he did. And then COVID happened. But what did he do? He learned from it quickly, pivoted. Now he goes after cybersecurity and is the dominant player in cybersecurity.
And you know why? Because he shows up, he makes decisions, he he follows through. He's not, it's so simple, man. Like time and time and time again, we see the people that show up consistently, the people that put in the work, the people that show up for the other members in Slack, the people that just show up, man.
Just like another example, like Jeremy Weiss of Rise 25. Think about he shows up so giving for everyone. When he needs anything, everyone drops a dime. Same thing with Duncan. Duncan comes in an attitude of growing his agency as a test and how many people can I connect with? Not to sell, but how can I add value to someone else's, life, the client, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, he's able to take months at a time.
Duncan and I had a call together this morning, and we were talking about this. And it's kind of funny you bring him up because when he started in the mastermind, he was basically creating content calendars. That was it that they did, social media content calendars. And over that time, his agency has evolved and grown so much. A huge part of that has been niching down in the food and beverage space. He's at a point based on our conversation today where they're essentially turning down opportunities that aren't in the niche. So he's gotten that locked into it. They're offering, lots of different services. And he said that they've been recognized as one of the top 20 podcasts in the food and beverage space at this point, which he's extremely proud of, which is really, really
He
cool.
used to fight us
I know.
tooth and nail. He was even the one in the mastermind that would bring up a drinking game, a Jason drinking game when I say create a podcast, right?
So he and I were talking today about, just leveraging the podcast strategy into a better lead generation channel and just being a little more strategic about that. And we came up with some really cool ideas. And actually we're going to talk again next week because he wants to, brainstorm on that a little bit more and bounce some ideas back and forth and get it dialed in. But yeah, and again, it just goes back to the point, Duncan shows up all the time, not only on the calls, but outside of the calls. He is actively engaging one-on-one with the members in the group on a constant basis just to see where he can create a connection, just to see where he can do something for somebody else. And everybody loves him. So
Well, I think it's about finding your tribe. Like we all need a tribe in order to feel a belonging, be able to, be able to see the things you might not be able to see, and just be able to contribute. Like I've been yearning for my own tribe for many, many years. You know how many masterminds I've actually gone through. Like I've joined and they've been, less than satisfactory to, what I want.
and I
So
think that, okay, I think you said something important there. It's you got to know what you want. I think so many people, when they start something like this, they don't necessarily even know what they want. And, I had a boss many, many years ago that used to always say, if you don't know where you're going, you'll surely end up somewhere else, which I don't know why. It's just always stuck with me. It's one of those little things that's always repeating itself in my head. And I think that's part of the problem with this too, is, you know, as great as you are, it's still up to the person coming into this to have a direction, to have and the path can deviate and change and splinter and whatever, but you got to know what it is that you're trying to achieve and what it is that you want. Because if not, how the hell are you going to make the decisions or put the pieces in place or do the things that you need to do to get anywhere, right? Otherwise, you're spinning in circles.
Like if you're walking in the desert and you have no sense of direction, if you're right-handed, you're going to walk in a right circle. It's going to be a big circle, but you're going to eventually end up at the right back where you started, or sometimes even further back. And so, yeah, but it's just frustrating, honestly. Like we see all these people that they want help, but they don't do what they need to do. They're not going to commit the time. They just think it's going to magically happen. They're looking for the magic beans. They're looking for sunshine and rainbows. Everyone has a silver bullet or a magic pill, and that shit just doesn't exist. When I tell people they're starting an agency or they tell me they're starting an agency, I'm like, congrats. Like, I hope you have endurance because it's definitely not a sprint. Um, and you have to kind of pace yourself, but you have to understand your destination you're going. You have to know who you're going to help. You have to know what you do really, really well. Like I always tell the mastermind members, like, look, if you were going to be paid on performance only and only after you delivered an amazing result and the impact you delivered on their business is the direct impact amount of money that you're going to get, who would you do it for? What would you do for them? And that's the starting point. And then once you do that, then it's all about how do you get their attention? How do you inspire your team and put the right team on the right seat in order to get you there, right? That's what I love about our team that we have is no one has to manage anybody. Well, I guess Stacy manages me,
Yeah,
um,
that's pretty fair.
to be honest, right? But I don't have to manage anybody. Like I literally go, guys, here's the goal. I want to double a quarter of our mastermind members' EBITDA. That's the goal. And then everyone can make their decision for what's the best, right? Versus, I want to make a gazillion dollars. Well, how's that going to motivate you all? And you're like, well, you're going to get rich. Whoop de doo. Like, I talk to so many agency owners, they go, I just want to be rich. I'm like, do you really? Like, you just want,
But
that's
that
it?
just goes back to
That's
what
a
we talked
sad
about
life.
earlier. Is you've accumulated, these things in this lifestyle, then comes the stress of trying to maintain that and retain that, and the pressure that comes with that. That if I make a bad decision, I'm going to lose these things that half the time you probably don't even need, and that's neither here nor there. But I mean, yeah, being wealthy is fucking awesome, and not having to worry about those things is great. But at the end of the day, there's wealth is measured in a lot of different ways. And I think going back to the tribe conversation, that's where having that community is important, because it helps keep things in perspective for you. You it constantly challenges you to think about what it is that you want, why you want it, where you're headed, where you're going, how do you get there. And when you have people that like, and trust, that can call you out on your bullshit or help you realign your thinking, or even just validate the direction you're going, it's so important, because it just removes all of that uncertainty and all of that just ambiguity when you're trying to figure things out by yourself. I remember at the end of the year last year, we had a thread going in Slack for a while where people were kind of sharing how they ended their year and the results that they had. And, we see some that said, oh, I had, 30, 40% growth this year, which I was very proud of and I was very happy with. We had some that had substantially more. We had some that were kind of flat that said, I had a rough year, but these are the really important things that I learned. And these are the process improvements that I made as a result that have positioned me for an amazing year going forward. And it's just the perspective of knowing that the evolution is happening in different ways.
And a year is short term, guys
Oh
and
my God.
gals, right? Like a year flies by like that, and take it from some old farts that are talking to you right now. Darby's an older fart than me. He's a little wiser. Like, even if I had a down year, I thought last year we would have a down year, and we actually finished above where we wanted. But it was trending down, and like we could have gotten upset, a quarter in, whatever. But and I could have got upset too, even if we had a down year. But then that's not going to help going forward. If you're building the right foundation for the ultimate goal, that's all that matters. Why are you even putting a time in it?
Not only,
I
I
just
mean,
don't get it.
and just there are there's going to be downtimes. There's going to be hard times. I mean, it's just inevitable, right? There's going to be some months and some years that just flat out suck, that are going to be painful, but it's part of the process, and you have to embrace that. And the highs can't get super high, and the lows can't get too low, because then
Yeah.
you lose that perspective.
What did I tell Lisa yesterday on the mastermind? I was like, you're either in the storm, approaching the storm, or just got out of the storm. Like, those are the three
The
things.
storm is always there.
So it's always there. I mean, it's right around the corner, or you're in it, or it's about to be there. And that's what makes it fun,
But the
right? Like, I
storm
love the
also makes the
changing of the
garden grow,
seasons.
right? I mean, it's about to rain here, and my wife and I have been working hard on the garden in the backyard, and I'm excited for the storm. The storm doesn't always suck, man. The storm is a pressure test. The storm allows you to see things differently that you need to see.
I always get excited. Like, I just put out seed in the field, and most years I time it right, and then the monsoon's coming, and I go to Kimberly, I'm like, I just put the seed out, just got it. This year I put it out, I just see it burning and all these birds all eating it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll learn from it, and you know, maybe the birds be happier, and maybe they'll shit on our neighbors' cars more. I don't know.
Anyone in particular?
Couple neighbors,
I know
couple
the answer to
neighbors. I'm
that
hoping.
already. All
That's it.
right, so what's the parting piece of wisdom for this episode?
I think you have to figure out where you're going and the change you want in order to get there. You have to find a way to make it greater than the change staying at the same place. And then once you do that, you need to look for your tribe. Regardless, if it's us, great. If it's not, no problem. Right. That's why we put out the podcast, in order to be a resource that I wish I had. But you need a tribe. I think we all can agree you all need a tribe. Doesn't matter if it's us, it needs to be somebody. So go find that tribe based on what you want. And then the change is going to be that inspiration for you to change. And you got to fully commit to it. Like, when you find your community, you can't say, I joined it, now I'm going to get the results. No, I joined it, I have to put in my time. It's like everything in life. Think of it like a bank. I have to keep making deposits, but then the compound interest is unbelievable versus, oh, I put $100 in last year. Well, shit. If you put $100 in every day, now you're going to be somewhere.
Just $100 every week, right? Like, it doesn't even have to be every day. But again, that's just showing up. That's the simple part, right? We said it 16 times. You got to show up.
I watched a video on Kobe many years ago, or someone talking about Kobe Bryant, and it was about, like, I guess their summer league, and they were going to train with Kobe, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to be early." And he saw Kobe come out, like, the guy showed up 10 minutes early, and then saw Kobe get off the court, and he was already working out for 2 hours. And then he's like, "Hey, I'll be right back." He was still 5 minutes early, but he worked out, took a 5 minute break, and then worked back. And I think if you can look for little wins, think about if you got better every single day, how much better will you and your agency be at the end of the year? Every day, just one little thing, one little momentum could change everything. So that is what we hope for you. Go find your community, show up, and it's about how you show up too. It's not just about present, Ferris Bueller. You remember? I love that movie. Like Ferris Bueller. Present. Remember that in school? I always hated that. Like I was always felt like this is the dumbest thing ever. Present, and then I would fall back asleep. I didn't show up in school,
Yeah.
and that's what I don't want
Yeah.
people.
My 16-year-old son is you. We just had a talk on the way to school this morning.
well, hopefully, I give you assurance that he could be successful later
Hey,
on.
there's still possible. It's still, it's still possible. No, he's a great kid.
Yeah.
He's doing well. It comes easy to him, so it makes him lazy, and then he gets lazy, and then things start to slide. It's just
My youngest got caught for using AI, and the teachers are mad at him. I was actually proud of him because it shows resourcefulness.
I mean, anyway, we could go on about that for weeks. All right. Well, this has been good. Hopefully we inspired somebody, like, just one or two people along the way, like figure out where you're going, figure out what you want, and then do something about it.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, until next time, have a swank day, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.